Hello. Hello. Right, hopefully you're with me now. I've had a bit of a nightmare recording these videos. This is my third attempt, so if it goes wrong again, I might, I don't know, flip or something. But I'm going to get rid of, you don't want to see my face, so let's get rid of that first one. Okay, we're going to do this video in three parts, starting with the Unit 1 stuff, which is decimal numbers and estimation. So the important questions here, okay, from your revision list are questions 1, 2, and I can see Fion, well done, has messaged me on Teams saying our exams start Tuesday and the exam is Tuesday. Fab. Okay, so we've got tomorrow to go over some of this as well. Great. Question 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, and 9 are the important questions. Okay, if you want to write those down next to those, any other questions not relevant for this exam, let's start. Question 1. I'm not going to say too much about them, okay? Round into one decimal place, okay? The first number after the decimal point, cut off there, all right? And decide then, are we going to keep the number the same or round up? So for example, 8.246, the 2 is followed by a 4, so stays as a 2. 7.26, because the 2 is followed by a 6, rounds up to a 3. Same with the last one. 5.4, because it's followed by a 4, stays as a 5, okay? Two decimal places, same thing, but we just cut off a digit later after the second decimal place. Okay, the first two should be all right. The last one I want to pick up on is very, very difficult when you get a 9. Oop, that's not great. A 9 being followed by something bigger than 5, so 6 or 7 or whatever, because that then would round that up to a 10, but it doesn't become 10. In fact, the number becomes 0 and the 1 gets added on to the digit before. Now, that won't make sense, but let's look at it here. 384.499. Okay, that 9 needs to round up to 10, but what it actually happens is the 9 becomes 0 and 1 gets added onto the 4 to make 50. You almost need to think of it like I've circled there as 49 rounding up to 50. Okay? Same thing. We struggled with this a little bit, those significant figures, I've got to say, okay? The first significant figure, if we round into that, is the first number that isn't a 0. So here's the 9, here the 1, and here the 8. Not the 0, the 8, okay? Again, it's followed by decides whether it stays the same or rounds up. So 9 is followed by 2, stays as a 9. 1 is followed by 8, rounds up to a 2. 8 is followed by 9, rounds up to a 9. The other difference between part 1, 2, and 3 here is in part 1, a number bigger than 1, okay, a big number. In other words, any remaining numbers need to be replaced with zeros to hold the place value. Same here, zeros to hold the place value, but in a decimal number, 0.9, replacing these numbers here with zeros doesn't change the size of the number, so there's just no need for it, okay? Two significant figures, exactly the same, but we're cutting the number off after the second non-zero digit. So 3, 7, it's that 7 I'm interested in. 7 is followed by 7, so rounds up to an 8, finished off with zeros. Another odd example with a 9, a 919, the 9 is followed by a 7, so the 9 is rounded up to 10, but if we do that, the 9 itself becomes a 0, and the 1 gets added on to the digit before and becomes 2. So 220 followed by all the zeros. And that one's okay as well, 0.93 followed by 4, so it stays as a 3. We don't need to worry about question 3 and 4 so much. Question 5, already done. I've actually made a mistake here. Nice. So while I'm talking you through this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to rub out some answers here. There we go, because you're going to go at these as extra ones. So they were done in my last video. All right, so question 5, multiplying with decimals. If you multiply with decimals, ladies and gentlemen, pretend the decimals aren't there. So in my first sum, I did 6 times 7, which was 42. And in this sum, in B, I did 1,435 times 7, which you can see up here was 10,045. Okay, once you've done that, we then decide where does the decimal point go. So we have to count how many numbers are after the point in the question. So 0.6, there's one digit after the decimal point there. 0.7, there's one after the decimal point there. Therefore, the answer is 42, but I need to come back 1, 2 places and put the point in. So it becomes 0.42. Here, 1.435, 3 numbers after that decimal point. So I needed to come back 1, 2, 3 places and put the decimal point into my answer, 10.045. Dividing not such a problem, okay? Don't really need to ignore the decimal points, just put them in. 2.7 divided by 9, I've just done it as 2.7 divided by 9 in a bus stop, all right? And the answer is 0.3, and the same here, 0.36 divided by 4, and you can see the answer is 0.09. Now, if you want to have a go at these, pause the video to have a go now. But if you're still with me, I'm about to give the answer, so if you haven't paused, here they are. First one, 0.08, 2 decimal places. Here, 0.66, 2 decimal places. And the final one, 1.62 divided by 3 is 0.5, remainder 1, 4. 0.54. Question 6. Decimal, not decimal, dot notation or recurring notation. So in the part A, 6.777, the 7 is recurring, so we put a little dot to the top right of the 7 to show it's a recurring number. Here, 12.92929292, so it becomes 12 point. We only need to write 92 once, and a dot either side, like speech marks, shows that the 92 recurs. 21.678678678678. Okay, so the 21 point and the 678 goes in speech marks each time, but they're not the dots. Okay, and then the most awkward one, 3.471717. Right, the 4 is not recurring here, so needs to stay out of the dot. So 3.4, then comes the recurring bit, 717171. They get the dots, top left and top right. Question 8. Just check my time. That's not how I do that. I've got 3 minutes left. Okay, on this video anyway. So let's get back and do these quickly. So first of all, what I would do is I would write this in dot notation, which is what I've done there. Okay, but now we want to write these as fractions. Now remember, any number that is not recurring, okay, gets a 9 on the bottom. So, sorry, any number that is recurring, completely wrong. So 0.23, both numbers recurring, 9 on the bottom. Here, the 19 is recurring, but the 3 is not. 3191919. So you write 319. The two numbers that are recurring get a 9 on the bottom, but the number that isn't becomes a 0. So it becomes 319 over 990. But then you remember to take away from the top the non-recurring digit. And the final answer is 316 over 990. Final one, estimation. If my video runs out of time, sorry, I'll get as far as I can. Round everything to one significant figure. So 5.84 to the nearest 1 is 6. 32.02 to the nearest 10 is 30. It's 180 here. 703 to the nearest 100 is 700. 2.04 to the nearest digit is 2. 350 is the answer to that. And here, 40 times 200 divided by 10 times 8 becomes 8,000 divided by 80, where you can, when you're dividing, then you can cancel a 0 off the bottom and the top, becomes 800 divided by 8, which is 100. And that's the end of video 1.